Good day.
Hello.
That was a great stereo intro to an episode of Always Strikes Late there. I'm kind of proud of us.
I think that we nailed that one. Not that we don't
We didn't
nail
even rehearse.
every
No,
one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, we don't rehearse.
We have the casual grace and on point sort of vocalizations of a barbershop quintet. That's a thing, right?
Yeah.
Welcome, Marty. As we
we
have 5 today.
Yes, we've got a pretty full house.
Yeah, we do. And thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in. We've got Marty coming in from Australia. He is going to teach. He's going to teach.
Yes.
Yeah, in the future, or is it the past?
Yes. It's Wednesday.
Future.
If you go west enough, are you east? If you go east enough, are you west?
I mean, what if we're north? What if we're south?
No, those aren't options.
No one can answer these deep questions.
Indeed. Obligatory, if you like what you're listening to, like, subscribe. We're gonna try and get to 500 this year. Help us get there.
We would love that.
Over on the YouTubes.
Yeah.
Some merch stuff that we'll show at the end of the episode and do just a ton of fun
There's merch stuff?
Yes, there is merch stuff.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Such merch stuff. Little known, potently outfitted booty short and jersey combos that can bring you to tournament victory or just make you look good trying. One of the two, guaranteed.
And maybe a tracksuit at some point in time, because one had to be made with tracksuit GT. Let's see what Miles is going on about.
Confidence is half the battle when you are in competition, so.
And one of the most confident men I know out in Australia is Marty here.
So how you doing, Marty?
But Lockie's the real one. But...
Oh, stop it.
Rocco, that segue was so smooth. I wish I could take the tour, but but seriously, welcome, Marty. We won't demur. Let's intro you properly, right? Yeah. So, Rocco, you do know Marty the best, so take it away. Give this man his accolades.
Oh God, I have been haunted by the specter of Marty McBrooks here for 6 years.
No, not 6 years.
No, it was before.
COVID was long, mate. But
it was before, a little bit before COVID.
Almost 5 years. No. It was
been over 5 years.
It was like April. That's not doing
5. Okay, so we're coming on our 5-year anniversary soon. This is my beloved, totally not real internet son, Marty. He has been a staple of many a TTS community tabletop simulator, as well as at one point one of the best ogre players in all of Australia, the head of their destruction. Yes, you were. You were up there. Stop yourself.
They have me top 10 in the world still. So,
are you?
I don't know.
And as you can see, extremely not humble. This man is a braggart.
Yes.
He goes on and on. You can't even get him to accept a compliment.
I don't even know if we can handle this. He's too headstrong. Too sure of himself.
The braggadocio.
He just goes on and on and on. Yes, and his nos and his yes. You might know him on the internet as Pask. Again, friend of my YouTube channel, fellow moderator in a bunch of Discords that we've run from the AOS Coach Discord onward. It's probably the 51 percenters.
I'm not
win rate Discord.
Part of that,
Yep. Even my Flesh Eater Courts Discord, buddy. You're right there.
But like technicality, because you want me to set up a bot.
And you said you weren't useful.
I could ban them all.
You could nuke that Discord.
I'd be in line with that place. You know how Flesh Eaters are, right?
He's mad with power.
Yeah, it's a cleanse. That's all it is.
Flesh Eaters, but
after seeing
I could start.
After seeing the ranking in LVO, you might be onto something there.
Seriously,
pausing their power there.
Good.
But to bring this back to Marty here, one of the other things that he's been known for on the internet is the Butcher's Buffet series of tournaments and Discord. So if you need someone to just tell you what the hell a TTS event is, what are some of the things you could do, and find a community of people who do all kinds of mods for models or for maps or for whatever, this man knows. He might even know how to do it himself if he doesn't know how to push it off to someone to find who knows how to do it.
And no, I can kind of like there's a lot of like really good people making maps, but like I've done like a little bit on that myself time to time. So like stuff like Mitch's map just makes like a lot of it like really easy these days. You don't even have to worry about making the maps for it.
Yeah.
And like GW terrain maps as well are a huge blessing because you don't have to think about terrain setups. They just have that all sorted for you.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask because I am notoriously bad at TTS because I saw the one chance that I get in real life to be able to flip a table, and it's available in TTS.
It is.
And so I've never made it past that because I log on
by the flip button. That's fair.
I've flipped the table, and I've never made it past that. So can you tell me a little bit about TTS for maybe people like me who maybe a little bit let's say averse to not flipping a table? For any of the pro table flippers out there, what would you say is like the reason to stay past the flipping of the table?
I think like the big thing in terms of like being involved in like TTS is like two main ones is just like you can get a game basically anytime, anywhere, which is like really convenient because like if you're like someone like maybe me that has like kind of weird hours or something like that, like when like your local shop has a one day you might not be able to play, you can maybe just LT look for someone for a game, play them just whenever. But the other thing is like it's also just a collection of the best players on the world. Like the 51% group I am, like I think 4 out of 10 of the best, like I think 4 or 5 of the top 10 people in Worlds last year, not the WCW, but the Worlds, they were all part of that group. Though even like WCW had a lot of like strong players, like Fred and Ronya, like make
They are there.
Nice.
But yeah, you play like basically really strong players and get absolutely curb stomped, and sometimes learn something from it.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy how quickly you could just have a game on demand, if you are connected to, the right discords or just a few discords even, right? Not even necessarily the right ones, but there are a bunch out there that like very quickly, boom, 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 you can be in a game. And I think in a lot of ways, your first few games are going to take quite a bit more time, but generally speaking, casual pickup games go quicker than in-person pickup games because the dice rolling is so much faster, because it's all automated. Once you learn the what to click and how to maneuver that, and it is a little bit of a growing pain. It's going to take you a few games to get down how to view and how to move stuff. And man, moving models still is annoying for me. But
it is.
Yeah,
it's definitely very mechanical and precise. But yeah, it's great for quicker games, practicing deployment. If you're an alpha army and find someone that'll be a punching bag for you, you can just try it. Just see how it works out.
So I think for being precise, it actually kind of depends on the size of the army. I think it's harder to be precise if you're running like 300,000 goblins or something like that. If you're playing what I'm currently playing, which is like Stonehorns, like you can like measure gaps that are like, oh, this gap is 3.6 inches wide. So that means I know that my Stonehorn can fit through this gap. But if it's 3.5 inch wide, I can't fit through that gap. Or like you chuck out like there's auras, so like off your model you can have like this little circle protrude for like 3 inch ranges, so like you can very clearly see like where do I need to put my models to screen out deep strikes, where do I need to put my models to be like 3 inch
buffs, debuffs,
really good tool for that. Okay.
Like auras are one of the things I wish you could drag into the thing, which is why
you definitely start taking them for granted when you're using them.
Like having gathered like a bunch of random like little combat gauges from like random events you go to kind of like is like a very slightly like scratches that itch.
Like, so
just putting like 500 of them down.
So it when I first looked at it at TTS, it looked like it was created to actually be used as like a VR play place. Is that something that you guys actually do?
So that can be, but the thing that it was created for really was to play board games and card games, and it's got a decent enough simulator. You can even get games of Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder on that if you wanted to. There are enough mods for the different things. People, you could put on a VR headset and
like Monopoly and anything on there, really.
Yeah,
interesting.
I used to play a game called Star Wars Destiny, which is like a dice trading card game. We played on Tabletop Simulator. Played HeroClix on Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah.
Played tons of games. Yeah, it's like sky's the limit. Somebody goes and makes it, you can import it on there.
So iOS is like kind of like, and there's a lot you can actually like if you know what you're doing with making maps. It's a lot that like people have been able to do with it. iOS, I would say, is on the sort of lower end, and like still a lot of impressive work that's gone into it. But still, say it's on the lower end of this amount of stuff that's like some mods will have. The other game I play, Marvel Crisis.
Oh my god, that mod is just amazing. What it does.
Jumping for a whole thing where like you basically submit codes and you get like your army, like basically off rip, and then you can like have. If you press like numbers on the models, that
you get the different movement like tools,
little tools that you need for the game. It's really well done.
So really,
it's not really
by the mods.
Oh, it really is driven by the mods?
Yes.
Yeah,
it is just a sandbox.
It's not official. It's
none of it's official.
So no support for anything on it.
See if like they'll have like some official stuff like Wingspan, but for the most part, it's just it's like it's a community effort on like pretty much all of these.
And
so, go ahead.
Well, no, because I want to add in more on this too, and the whole idea of all these TTS communities. What's happened is basically all the fans of all these different games, in some way or another, came together, generally through a Discord or some kind of chat room or something, to go and make all of these assets. Like the original TTS table for Age of Sigmar was a guy out in Spain who lived too far away from the game store with his friends, and he could only see them every so often. He couldn't get there for tournaments. Pask is going to...
Was him or Scrubby Wells the first? Because I know they were about the same time.
I think he was before Scrubby. If it was Scrubby, my apologies, man. I love you anyway. It's been too long. But one of the first. We'll get that fully correct here.
Because hey, Rocco, we're like the OGs of the community.
We are.
We can get into history,
which is scary. But yeah, no, again, five-ish years of us doing this, and for me, thousands of people taught, like in person, let alone the videos and different things that I've done for this. And you've done for this.
My master out on that. If any of you ever, because he's out in your end, or not West US, but in America, and he's ever see like Owen Jackson at like an event.
Because he moved to the US.
Because he basically, like him and like Adam Mumford, they basically started the TTS communities with events they were running.
They did. And that's the other thing too, was one of the things that Owen did to start with was also teach people how to do all the extra shit, how to put on all of the different mods, how to put on like the rangefinders, how to do the auras, how to little things that were just quality of life that kept coming out. He'd run classes, honestly, every couple of days during the pandemic to go and get more people to play.
You know, it's awesome. I ran into Owen at WCW, and he was the coolest guy. We talked the whole time, all weekend. We still chat now. We catch up, weekly.
And Adam Mumford of Team Lit having the first TTS Worlds in air quotes event too. It was everyone versus Europe.
Yeah. We ended up losing that. But
we did.
I don't know why I was on the world stage for that, but I was.
Yeah, you were. I was. It was a whole thing. But
so fun.
I played my deacon for that. That was a lot of fun. I went 2-2, but beat Mumford. That was a whole thing. But we're not here for that.
So it's really interesting because there used to be something like this, and I think I grew another gray hair saying this.
Oh, no.
using Vassal. I don't know if any of you guys remember that
I
program.
don't think I recall
It's still
Vassal
used to,
myself.
like, I think it's still used for Warhammer Underworlds, if memory serves.
It
That
could
makes
be,
sense.
but I remember using that quite a bit when I was still playing 40K in like 6th, 5th, and 7th edition.
Oh,
And so it was pretty much the same thing, but top down, right?
Yeah, it was a lot more
So
2D,
it,
right? Yeah, so it's not.
yep, it looked like old school battle reports from like White Dwarfs from the early thousands or late 90s. If
Oh,
you
with the
guys
little
remember that.
boxes, like the ones that look like
yeah.
little, like
An
yeah.
open source game engine, Vassal. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
when I
Yes.
think of when I think of TTS, I think of almost a 3D version of it, or 3D
Yeah.
version of Vassal, right?
Yeah,
So
and if you played like Warhammer Underworlds and you go into AOS and you want to take that jump, that's a pretty good way of thinking about it.
nice. Yeah. So anybody listening who's played Vassal, if you're old like me,
Oh,
try
no.
TTS with us because we're gonna learn how to do it now.
That's
We
the goal, isn't it?
With
And I
Dragon
think
Matt kicking and screaming.
maybe one of the things that our listeners probably really want to know, right? Like, I mean, so TTS, there's a thriving, grown Warhammer community out there for Age of Sigmar.
Thousands
You
upon
past
thousands of people.
slash Marty, you've been running tournaments. I mean, it's pretty legit. But I mean, like, how do you get started? That's a $1 million question, right? Like, someone says, sign me up. I live in
100%.
Winnipeg. No one's around me. I want to get serious with my game reps and have fun with my friends. Like, what's like the one-on-one?
Winnipeg, huh?
I'm not trying to pick in Winnipeg, but it seemed appropriate.
No. It's out there.
I think you Winnipeg to the question, it's perfect. Hey, got it.
Boom.
I can't actually think of many people from like Winnipeg. I know someone from I can't remember what's it called, Alberta. But yeah, no, there's like people from all over. But I'd say like if you want to get started, I'd say probably the best place to get started playing like TTS games would be the AOS coach server. You can just like find him on YouTube. Like he has his Discord. There's like a channel you react to pins and you can get like the TTS general and you can sell the games there. And like if you chuck enough shouts, you'll like you can get links to like Warhammer does like a lot of singles events.
TTS Warhammer is another big
Moss
Discord.
Dog is doing a fair amount of them, and I'd say like probably once you get a little bit of experience on your belt, something like really cool you can be doing is do it.
The Beast
runs team events and they are huge. Like the last I think like in total the amount of people in like RTV 9 release of Beast 9, that's one he runs. I think it's probably like maybe one of the fifth biggest type of events. Like, you got like LVO, Adepticon, CanCon, and like AOS World.
It was 33 teams of 8 players, right?
Wow. Okay, yes.
32. Yeah, it was like 240 people. It's like
No, I don't know how to math well, but that's a lot. It sounds like
it was like it was it was bigger than a CanCon, and since Stuart's from Australia as well, I guess it's the biggest Australian
256 if we're going with 32 teams.
CanCon's fucking huge, and that's happening this week as well. I think 180 people this year.
That's wild. That's wild.
That's awesome.
Well, that's all some pretty good stuff.
If you want my opinion from CanCon, I like the list that is 19 Doom Seekers.
Oh no!
Hey, sometimes
is it all the Nobblers, Marty?
Sometimes you just gotta do it, So in trying to figure it out, what are like let's say I'm a new player and I'm coming in and I don't necessarily know what I want to do, but I do want to flip the table. So what is are there like what are the first things you would recommend somebody do? Like, as far as like, are there pieces that you like, are there short keys that you want to set up? Is there like things that you like, me as like a new person coming in, wanting to like actually like learn about the the app itself or the program itself? Anything I should be aware of?
I think like honestly, if you just get in, like I think if you just like ask, like wanting to learn TTS, can I have a game? It's like so many like really nice people that will like help, like will jump in, help you, and like get grips with that. Especially if you are like experienced with like AOS as is, that would be like a really good backing as well. So, and as well, like if you are playing like AOS right now and you want to like start TTS, I would probably recommend starting with like the smallest amount of models in like an army you're comfortable with. I mean, if you play like Soul Blight and you just spam like bodies and that's all you're comfortable with, that's fine if that's like the army you know best. But I think like the most important thing is like playing something you know, and then like maybe just playing like slightly less numbers or something like that, just to like get like the experience on the board and that.
So that makes
But
sense.
once you jump in and get going, I think like once you have like maybe two, three, 4 games, then you get the pretty grips of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of that is when you like, just if you've never used it, when you pick up and go to move a model, it starts measuring for you. So if you can move 8 inches, you just move it until it says 8.0, click, drop, boom, right? But when you've got 40 ghouls in a pack and you're trying to move them one by one to clog up this really unique position, that's where it gets kind of finicky. So the suggestion for lower model count is really so you don't have to get the minutia of that when you're just trying to figure out how to move around. But if you've done like first person shooter on the computer or any kind of RPG game with keyboard controls, you are using WASD to move left, right, up and down. You can zoom in and out with your mouse wheel. So there are a lot of basic Windows functions that are pretty handy to know right out the gate. If you highlight something.
And if it doesn't auto measure, tab like you just press like tab.
Yeah, you can copy Control C, you can paste Control V, right? So there's a lot of intuitive stuff to it, which is really handy.
The cool thing about copy paste is you can like sometimes, if you want to just see, can a model fit in this gap, instead of like going through some weird like hand wavy rigmarole that you might do in a normal game, you can just copy a model, paste it, and just see does it fit in the gap before I move.
There are some kind of nice little shortcuts that exist virtually because we are in a computer environment. As long as you learn
some just really really quick ones. Tab to measure. Your number keys like 1 through 9 will like if you press them on the unit, it'll form them into like little ranks. It doesn't like it won't like go to coherency, so you might like have to offset it with how coherency works.
Okay.
But like if you're like starting out new, no one's gonna be really nitpicky about your like coherency. At most they might like just let you know, but they're not gonna like really be complaining about it.
They better flip the table.
Fantastic if you ever like move a model weirdly and it like shakes up in a ball or you've put it in the wrong spot, don't unclick your click, like your left click, press escape instead, and
it'll reset your models for you. And
So,
F1, 2, 3, and 4 correspond to different commands that you'll see about either picking up your models, being in the measurement tool, the drawing tool, so on and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot.
So you can group.
That's like the basic ones. I'd say like are pretty good to know.
Nice. Yeah. So I was hearing correctly though. You can group models like in units and stuff, and then move them together.
It's a bit like haphazard, but like it makes like. But like, it kind of will order. Like, you can kind of press buttons to kind of like order rank it. So like, you got a group of 20 nobblers, you press like 4, and it'll go into like a 4x5 blob, and you just put it down like that.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds like the most finicky thing is just that, right? Large groups of models. Like if you have monster trucks and you have them around, the tools make it a breeze. You can check, you can copy, you can see if something's going to work. But if you have like, I think you were describing it, Mason, and I myself have had experience with this once or twice, trying to move some pretty arcane Tempest Eye formations in second edition, if you remember, Rocco.
I do.
Where it's like, here's my 50,000 things. How do I jigger it in just the right way?
Trek kicked our ass.
We did on Battle for the Past back in the day. Yeah.
Oh man,
bringing out the Seraphon.
Stupid wedge. I loved it. I fucking loved it. But I'd also like to say too, like back when I used to again teach people this and I was running my own classes for it, I would start off with like a 500 point to 1,000 point game, depending on the experience level of the person with Age of Sigmar, let alone learning TTS. Because again, there's just so many models and so much stuff you can get overwhelmed with. But if you just give yourself a couple practice games, it will just be as intuitive as any modern computer game.
Yeah.
By the time you're done with it.
Sounds like even Doom 2 players could pick it up, or even original Quake players could pick it up.
Honestly, yes. They have. I've seen it. I was there.
I was there again.
I saw the Quakening.
The amount of people that, again, were during the pandemic, in the height of it, when we're all separated, that were like, hey, I'm a 50-year-old man. I'm a 60-year-old man. I don't computer. How do I computer?
Teach me computer.
Yeah, that was all on that. I'd say like in terms of the history, I think you had like about 3 or so big waves. I'd say it's like COVID, 3rd edition starting, 4th edition starting as well.
Yes.
So I imagine 4th edition kind of rocketed it a little bit, didn't it?
Like
everybody having to learn.
Yeah.
Like you definitely get new people to scene, but like definitely there's also a lot of like established people that are like pretty nice help on that.
Yeah.
And like, there's been like other times where it's like even more people come in, which is like, the biggest thing is like the new rules and just making sure you get them right and coherency. Like coherency is probably the most annoying thing about like TTS. But like on the other hand, it's actually like fairly easy to check line of sight with how line of sight is now. So
that's true.
That's another thing.
That keeps things easier at least.
And also, again, the cool part of all this is once you start finding these different communities, you will find people from all over the world. Players are, again, the top, like we've run into the top Russian players, we've run into the top French players. I'm in Discord with people from South Korea right now.
Dallin, my goat.
You love him. He double turned the shit out of me in one of your tournaments. You had me come in as a ringer and you tricked me into playing all the rounds, you son of a bitch.
Actually, that's kind of funny now that you speak about it. Yeah, technically, if you think about it, Rocco, you and Mason are part of the same team lineage, and it's also
I know.
It's also funny that like you asked me to come on here, and I was like, oh yeah, I see like one person like in this like group I think I've heard of before. It's like, yeah, Mason, like he's been on my team, and you're like, oh, Mason's a co-host. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Son of a bitch. I told you this was perfect.
Because Mason is currently killing it in Release the Beast 9.
Hell yeah.
Like I'm kind of in a sub, kind of not. I was in a like weird role. But it's just mainly my role is just to come on and just be like, come on, team, score some fucking points. Let's go.
Yep.
Mason.
Should we talk about that? We can
talk about
how you
shit up and
how do you all put that together? How'd you get that out?
My title, like when it making me go 4-0.
So I got asked by Jared Brown, who is a Pacific Northwester, technically, right? He's part of our group. He's over in Idaho, part of the Rage Babies. And he and I were on Discord, and he hit me up and said, hey, are you interested in doing this online tournament? Teams tournament. If you are, my buddy has a team he's putting together, and he wants to, we need a player. So his friend Zalin got in touch with me, and I had maybe played like 5 or 6 TTS games, but I was like wanting to get into it, and I was like,
realize you were that
sure,
new. Yeah,
really. I had not done much, and so definitely after I agreed to play, up until that point, I played 4 or 5 games just so I could really get some stuff down. But I honestly had no idea what I was walking into at the time. I was just like,
it's a lot.
Yeah, man, I'll join the team. I'll play some TTS, right?
Yeah.
So I got in there, and there were some names that I had seen around and that I kind of knew, but I was kind of a wild card. Nobody really knew me. What's that?
Yeah, no, I was like, Yeah, Jalen keeps like bringing in people. I'm like, who are they? Like, I don't know. And then they like stop like performing insanely well. I'm like, let's fucking go, Jared. Let's fucking go, Mason. I'm fucking cheering them on now. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they asked me to come on. I said, yeah, I'm playing Beast of Chaos at Worlds, so this is what I want to play. I'll play Beast of Chaos for you. And they were like, perfect, we'd love that, right? And so we start. This tournament is kind of nuts because it's, like I said, there were 32 teams of 8 people, and so you pair into 4 teams right at the beginning. There's a huge lottery type situation, and everyone gets thrown into pairings, and then you coordinate with each of those teams and do your individual team pairings or player pairings for each of them, and then you have like a month to do these 4 games.
That's not too bad.
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
And again, I had no idea the player level, skill level. I didn't really know many people on my team, but I knew Jared was a good player, And so we start out, and I have to do a few games like real quick because I'm getting ready to go to WCW, and I talked with Zalin about this. So I do a couple games real quick. I bust them out, and I like smash my games right out the gate. Right, like I think I was like the first 2 games of our 32 that we need for this tournament completed, and it was
That's when I knew.
It was like 20-0, 17-3. I thought it was 2 20-0s, but their point scoring was a little weird.
That's when I know, like, we're gonna do good this tournament. Okay.
Yeah,
the casual quick drop.
Yeah, the brand new unknown. Just fucking.
WCW. You want to bring up that one game?
Oh, yes. Okay. So,
yes.
Yeah, for this tournament, I think we talked about this in the Worlds episode a tiny bit.
We did talk in the Worlds episode.
I got paired against a gentleman who who's from Serbia, that lives out of Thailand, I believe. And we got paired against each other, and we have a mutual friend, Marco from Serbia. So we started talking and connecting, and he said, his name's Boggy. And Boggy said, Mason, you're going to be at WCW, and so am I. We should play our game in person. And it might be the first time that 2 international players have had a WCW match and done it live and recorded the results. And so I'm going to say it is ignorantly because I don't know any different, but it didn't. It got a ton of reception. Everyone was super cool because we like played the game, wrote the score down, and took a picture as our proof. Normally, you take a screenshot of your TTS scoreboard. So
there might have been some like people playing locally, but like no,
right.
I don't think internationally. I think that was definitely a first.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
We didn't ask, and they didn't object, so we just did it. But it was awesome, So one of the games I didn't actually have to play on TTS; I got to play it live. But it was a 9th game at Worlds, so that was a little insane. But
yes,
still breaking the mold there. I kind of love that story because I remember you were talking about how you guys met up, and it sort of highlights how cool it is, like what you guys have been building with, like find a game anywhere, anytime you can get your game for you, because someone will be available, in this international scene. Because you guys wouldn't have met up and had that game otherwise. You might have walked right by each other. New relationship.
Sure. Yeah, maybe never met at all. And I will say that ever since joining the team and being a part of these servers and just watching games, I get to, if you're somebody that's interested in spectating Warhammer, and to be fair, it's not a very spectator-friendly game, but if you're into it, you can watch all of these games also. So most of the time, somebody's
players.
Yeah,
like RTB 9 like finals going on right now, and you might see like a team US, like you actually might be able to.
Oh, we lost you for a second there, Marty.
Ask your mic.
We lost your mic.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, can't hear you, Marty.
He's okay. The tongue's out. He's thinking hard.
He's got it. I believe in him.
All right, come on, son.
Things go backwards down there.
That's true.
The radio waves circle through the toilet.
Are swirling
backwards.
in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
But anyway, to kind of go on what he was saying too, I may not say it as eloquently as dear Marty, but you could go onto this server, go into this tournament, see this finals where
He's back.
Oh, well, is he?
I'm back.
Great.
So.
All right.
So
He's back.
Finish my sentence.
Thanks
see
to
these
internet
players
gods.
From around the world.
Play big games.
Good man.
Yeah.
I love it.
And to cap it off, we did that Release the Beast tournament, and our team of the 32 teams made it into the top 8. And so they then broke you out again and said, okay, come back with a new team of 8, or come back with a team of 8. You could change it, I guess. You could keep it mostly the same.
If you need
I don't really know
subs
the
or
rules or
whatever.
the logistics of that, but we came back with a slightly modified team for top 8.
Yeah,
New lists after the FAQ, right?
Yeah.
New pairings, everything.
Yeah,
we played
Kieran, who's really good, but he just didn't have the time. So we instead got Tavi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Tavi's like probably one of the best Seraphon players in the world. We got, and Seraphon.
Yes.
There's also buffs happen to Seraphon, so Seraphon are really good now. And then like kind of filling me in to have like a proper Zench slot. We had Horsies, who is like, maybe Netherlands' best player. Like went 5-0 at Worlds.
Yeah.
Is like absolutely killing it. Big legend of the sport, as I always say. Horsey's killing it. Tabby killing it. Yeah, Mason killing it. Everyone killing it. Loved it.
Yeah, but it's crazy. So in the first round of the top 8, we got paired against Germany. And we look at these lists, and it's just like all gas. Like these lists are just disgusting, right? Then we look at our list, and it's like pretty equally disgusting. So it feels fine, but then the pairing process is kind of intimidating in a way, because you're like, damn, okay, I've got to rate myself into some of these, and I know that I'm going to do okay into some, and I'm going to do okay downside in the others, but I've got to give a good gauge so they can put me into the right spot. So like everyone it's just filth against filth at this point.
Yeah.
We beat Germany 81-79. Is that the final score?
No, it was 83-77. With the caveat that Jalen couldn't play his game, so that was a 20-0 their way. So
at the final hour, we had to give up a 20-0.
Really
that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
No, that was rough. But it was after we had the results like all done anyway. Like we got the win anyways. It was like, so like we already had the win at that point. So it was like, we'll just take the win. Let's go.
And so now we just started the final 4 round, if you will, and we're paired into the Russian team. And again, you look at those lists, and it's just like, oh my goodness, even more disgusting than.
Like credit to Jalen, like if any Worlds team ever needs a coach, like pay him anything you can. Holy shit, he is. I don't know if there's anyone better at doing pairings than him. Like you'll see,
it's
like,
been pretty incredible the stuff that we've been getting away with, like
yellows and reds all around, and he'll somehow find a matchup that's like a matchup. He'll end up getting a spread for us. It's like 4 greens and 4 yellows, and you're like,
and he's also really good at Old World too.
Now, for those who may not know,
multi-game talent.
For those who may not know, what's the color coding system that you've got?
So for teams events, if you're like for teams events, not just TTS, just like if you're playing like maybe Pacific, like the American Masters or AOS Worlds, or just a teams event in general, a very common tactic that people use is the traffic light color rating system. So like they might also have it like ranked by like they might have like all your matchups on like all the available matches for the round. So you might have all your thingos on Vivice, shifting objectives, Battle for the Past, and like Star Strike, because they teams events have to run all the events. So Star Strike gets run. And like you'd be like, oh, I don't like my matchup on this map against this army. This is a red. Or like I probably win this really, really, really good. This is a green.
It's all about the confidence. It's the stoplight, gas for the green, caution for the yellow.
It isn't an exact science, but like there is also the other idea is that, like if you think you're getting a good match, like the kind of psychology actually does kind of help you out there. Most like as long as you are pretty confident in your list and like you know what your opponent's bringing.
Nice,
like,
nice. So decent grading system of kind of feels, kind of self-knowledge of the game as well. That's awesome.
Knowledge of list, confidence, all that stuff. That makes sense. Here's a question, because I think I've thought of this before with the TTS tournament environment. I'm sure people haven't delved into it probably or thinking the same thing. I think the production meta is often a pretty limiting factor for people's actual armies on the tabletop when they go to like live in-person events. How does that differ for the stuff you see on like sort of TTS lists? Does it
That's
have
actually a
on your
really good
stuff?
point. I think like a really one to like mention in particular is in Australia, you could not get a Maggot Lord for like about a year and a half in Australia. Unless you imported them from UK or you 3D printed or something like that. You could not get Orgots or I forgot what the other two are, but you couldn't
Still
get
damn hard to find even here, man. Yeah.
But like, you know, Nurgle players in Australia still ran them in TTS events because like at the time they were by far the best units in the book. So like they got a lot of play on that. So like
to answer that question even more thoroughly, you have access to everything no matter what at a click away. Like the mod for the table is one thing, and then the mod for the army building is another thing.
It's just a search away.
Whatever you want. Oh, you need 80 of these bestigors, copy, paste. Boop, 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 boom. I've got 80 of them. Here you go.
That puts me out of the job. I don't like that.
It does. Yeah. It takes all our jobs, really. It takes this job right here. You know? I don't even like painting. I can just copy paste.
Maybe Freddy scan your models into the game.
That's also a thing people do.
Process, but it's a thing you can do.
Yeah,
that's fun. That's real fun.
Get a 360-degree photo.
But Rocco, do you know the one list I'm thinking of in terms of that stuff though? I ran one.
There's so many.
Probably
are you talking about the bajillion Noblars? Which one?
300 Noblars.
Yeah, you did.
It was just a deep. So this was second ed. You could basically get up to 7 command points turn one, and like have your tyrant shoot all the Noblars, so they couldn't take battle shock for the rest of the game.
I remember that. Yeah.
Had like 300 models and Noblars made our units the 60s. It was just a pure DPS check, and this was before battle tactics as well.
Yeah, so like before Gargants.
Like I beat Archaon with it. Like
you did.
Like it has matches it can win.
It was really funny. But one of the things too, sorry to go on this even further, is if you've ever seen in person some weird random list of shit that just seems to work and the guy pilots it or gal or whoever pilots it really well, you're like, how the fuck did you know to buy all these models, to how to play them perfectly immediately as soon as you walked into the building in the tournament? They most likely found some crazy meme list or something on Tabletop Simulator, practiced it a shit ton, and then built it immediately, or had it commissioned even to speed it up more.
Try before you buy is like like what I'll do a lot. Like
it's my favorite thing to use.
I've got this list I'm like liking, but I need to get more reps in to know to like for what to get it for sure. It's like the Monster Mash Stonehorn list. But instead, like the 6 Stonehorn list, but instead of taking 2 of the Stonehorns, you actually replace it with the new Ironjaw's Pig Regiment Renown.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Reason being, you basically get about 100 extra points that you can use for Noblars, which gets you another screen. Yeah. Which actually gets you an extra screen. Because I was thinking about how do I fit in the Butcher and the 2 units of like Sabers and the Noblars, and then like I hear about this RR and I'm like, oh, that might work. I might try this out on TTS. I might give this a go and we'll see if this actually works.
Bonus 2, Noblars are definitively one of, if not the cutest units in the game.
Yeah,
as far as sculpts go.
Yeah.
So quick to paint.
But yeah, no, also having that unit screen of Noblars actually does, because I think the problem BCR has is you need to be able to get to your mid game with enough stuff alive to have your wards up to then roll through the opponent. If you're just getting alpha and you lose all your Stonehorns to like storm to like Slaves of Darkness, like
a couple
really
3d6 charges really mess up your day. But if you've
Like
got your
extra
friend the
little
Noblar,
numbers, and still have like those 6 trucks, have all your screens, have your turn 1 tactic in the sabers, have your mortal wounds threaten the butcher in the back. Like, I don't know, it just sounds like, I don't know, I'm liking it.
yeah.
I do
So,
love the
Seems good
try
to me.
before you buy factor there. That makes a lot of sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And one thing too that I really like using Tabletop Simulator for tournament practice is just because we know that terrain can differ so much and can just be all the all the different deployments you can go through. It's just when you walk up to a table, you have no idea what you're doing. You're like, "Fuck me, I don't know what I'm going for here." On TTS, you can just set up a table with different terrain maps that you know are more standard these days and practice where the fuck am I putting my models.
Yeah. Like a
You don't
really
have to
good
get a
example
whole
of that.
get your folding tables out, get your game entertainment out, get your mat, and then when you're done,
So
you just flip the table and delete it.
for
You get to
Worlds,
flip a
I
table?
did
You've
that
sold
for
me.
every mission in the game, and then I would like screenshot it and practice and figure out where I wanted to deploy for certain missions if I knew that I was going to have choice, or if I knew I wasn't going to have choice. Also, where my herdstone would go, because I was using the GW maps and I knew that was going to happen. So some missions,
Yep.
almost all of them, like 8 out of 12, I can put it exactly where I want, wholly within 18 dead center. But some of them I have to deviate from that because of the where the deployment zones are, or because of where physical pieces of terrain are in the map. And I got to practice all that without having to set up a table and move stuff around and hope that they're the right size. Like, it's all precise, and I can just cycle through it and know where I want to put that stuff.
That seems like its own valuable thing, right? And I guess let's maybe kind of dive into that for a second, Mason, because you use the tool the way I think a lot of tournament players would envision using the tool. We're trying to prepare
And they
for
do. They do.
that. Oh, and I bet. Well, like maybe this is something we can link later, and maybe you have this queued up somewhere, Best. But like, if there's a like, here is your whole map pack, like tournament players starter, here are the links you need thing. I think that we could probably even grow this community more. It's by promoting easy
Oh, that's
access.
easy.
Yeah, super easy.
Mitch's map and like Malkovich or like Orphan are like some of the better ones you know. It's also just another. There's just like two.
I can get some links for the Discord and for the upload if we do want them. Me and Rocco can get them for sure.
I mean, or Marty, he's here too.
I think
he's got the more recent ones than me even, and
on that, big shout out to Poro, like Team US. He's really good at AOS. He's done a fair amount of stuff recently on that. Malkovich, John Malkovich is like, I don't think that's his actual name, but he's like on Discord. Does like, is also got like a model map pack. And Mitch, local to my area, has been like doing a lot of really good work on TTS as well.
Well, that's amazing. Let's make that a thing, guys. And for all our listeners out there, we will put in the show notes, from Marty's, expertise, and sort of source from Rocco and Mason too. Like, the definitive, like, you want to play TTS 4.0, here we are 2025, the maps you need, the most up to date,
and I'm still a
DNOC
loyalist. I might slide that in there too, but
with accreditation to all these fine people who actually produce this stuff, because we're community made, community labor.
So many fine people involved in this.
Also, as well as Ziggy and Ziggy, as well as the people in the past have done all the model scans as well.
Yeah,
phenomenal job in that, especially the new ones that are coming out with that, where they basically apply like basically like a ray tracing filter over the models to like make them really pop. Like, actually like the new ones look really sick, like the Vanguard and that.
Oh, really cool.
So
I still have my derpy turtle from the very first Deepkin mod that I just keep around because it's just Shelly to me.
Is that the one I remember, Rocco? Like, you used to have? Yep.
I mean, again, I have the one real life, and then I just kept that same original one. It's been a great time for me.
Yeah, that was memory lane.
Sometimes just you gotta stick with what's right. For you.
But yeah, no, there's so many different communities, modders. There's just so much stuff out there.
Yeah. So in addition to that, one of the things we've talked about back and forth here is about like at least making like a little
Sorry, one more thing, one more shout out to.
Oh, you got it.
With some of the references on the different tables to like the weird knobs that the gaming group that came out with a lot of the different like references for like, oh, like what's the part of a turn, what are the
they're
battle
ones that
tactics.
made them. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I want to say it's the weird knob. They made some of them.
Yeah, I just don't.
There's so many.
Mitch just made one for one of his, but I think yeah.
Yeah.
I don't exactly know the source they got that from, but that stuff they have in the.
I think they're out of Texas, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take a look at these models.
Harambe then, or is that a different group? I don't know.
No, the Texas has quite a few crews.
Yeah. So not just. Okay.
No, they have their own even like Masters thing where they fight over Texas, where it's there's like 6 or 8 different teams that go at each other.
As they should. That is a quite large state.
I mean, yeah, it's not as big as New South Wales, but it's still a big state.
That is truth.
Yeah.
So as you know, one of the things we've been talking about with ASL is actually making just a little ASL league, and I was kind of interested in seeing, like, what did it take for you to start setting these up? What did you find, especially in a league that you're doing, that you're co-running with, right? What works for you? How do you find I guess the time? How do you do your scheduling? And how does are there any hurdles that people who could also be like trying to set up their leagues or like little local gaming groups to say, let's in between an RTT or let's say like a slow grow league or something could take to help them start?
I think like the main thing is just to have a players back. If you're around like running like events anyways, you should like be familiar with that and having that around. But like otherwise, I just like take a lot of inspiration from just events around you as well as like TTS events. TTS like events are like having their own little players packs. You can just have like a little simple one in like Word or like Google Docs, or maybe you could use like PowerPoint or like Canva if you want like a more complicated one. Like if you want it like to be visually distinctive or something like that, but like as long as you like, you can even like follow like Gareth, like one of the big rules guys who runs LVO, I think memory says. He has a really good base players back as well. If you want to use that for a lot of that stuff. I think in terms of like having maps, I think like the pretty nice thing about AOS right now is as long as you just have like a link to one of the main map packs, because of how terrain maps work now, as long as you just make people use one of the suggested map layouts, which will be pretty clearly stated in the mod, with like attacker defender setup, you can just kind of do like that on that. I think like the main thing is just having links to people, letting like making sure people know how to play the game, maybe helping people out with like getting it all set up. But then like I guess the hard part is at times can be just rules decisions, because like the thing is it's like most of the time you're not going to be I think TTS people, because like I think you're in a really like you got like a longer time for events and like rounds of things, you will get probably the most specific rules questions that I don't know. I don't think other TAs will have to deal with.
No,
you can't just do an off the cuff ruling because they have a week, right?
That's why Madigan's so good.
Is know people, other people who know their rules really well. If like you're a little bit more unsure on it, like a Madigan, like absolute godsend in terms of that stuff. Madigan Mason, one of the like she does a lot of like big event tier stuff. She's done like both worlds and like LVO, a lot of stuff. She's fantastic on that, as well as like maybe like other people around you that might know well, like maybe Stuart, maybe occasionally me, but
stop selling yourself short.
Indeed.
There's a lot of
self-positivity here.
You just know like always you can always trust your gut and stuff like that, but it's always good to get a second opinion if there's like a really scuffed rule score. Or it's like something with like really weird wording that like people read both ways or something like that.
Which is always rough.
Example. Good example, Marty.
I think in a lot of ways the speed bumps of setting up the tournament really is going to be one, finding the audience, right? Now, if it's your local audience and you have it, then that's a little easier. But if you were trying to reach a wider group, that will be a pain point. Beyond that, though, if you've run events, in-person events, then you'll know some of the pain points are getting everyone to get their lists in on time, everyone getting to report
legal lists.
If you're going, yeah, right.
Indeed.
Are you going to have? And when you're talking about like teams, it gets even stricter because now there are limitations and restrictions on who can have what and how many copies of each manifestation and yada yada. If you're going to collect dues or fees to do it, like collecting that could probably be a challenge from folks. So normal learning or normal like event people gathering structure can be a little bit cumbersome and obnoxious, I assume. But yeah, having a pack will really clear that up, and then knowing what level or scale of the audience and your expectations for that is going to be the one of the major hurdles, if any.
Yeah,
that makes sense. I could see that being a big thing, and maybe even just extra tough with some of the stuff like dues collecting. Like, okay, you got to get like a Venmo going or like some sort of like payment system. Whereas sometimes if you're in person,
or don't just make it free too. I mean, no problem.
Yeah. I would even add into getting your games on time.
Decent argument about recently, but
what'd you get, Marty? What'd you get?
I couldn't remember it. Like I was looking through the rules, like chatting one of the fingers, but I can't remember it. But like sometimes there might be like just ways people might read grammar like two different ways.
Right, because it's international. It's everyone's third language.
Really badly writes a rule like so like no one actually plays it this way, but I guess the closest thing to I can think to an example that there are other rules. I just can't think of the other rule that follows the same wording. But with Legion of First Prince, it's like worded that like Demon of First Prince infantry or cavalry, that there's a reading that the terrible way that they've written it means that you can bring back Vanguard, even though not intended at all. It's only meant to be demon, like infantry or cavalry.
Demon cavalry, yeah.
There's some rules that are like really badly worded that there's like different rules interpretations on. Though that one generally, like no one will let you bring back Vanguard.
I think the biggest weirdest one that I've run into lately has to be Flesh Eater Courts with Nagash, and then trying to recursion.
Yeah, because isn't there the one, I forgot the exact rule, but it's like if they bring back a model, you get like +1 to it. But
so it's Lords of the Manor.
People will try and bring back an entire unit again.
Even though you don't get anything back.
Well, no, Matt, this is something different actually. So Lords of the Manor says for fact that every time you would use an ability to return models, you return +1, and that's what the wording of that rule is. Every time you use an ability that can return models, you can add, you can bring back that many +1. So the thought is, I can target something, and I have 0 noble deeds, and I'm using it because it's a legal amount, and I'm using an ability that returns models, and so I can do that for 0 points and add +1 to it.
I see the logic. The only model that can legally use that rule is the rules lawyer model they released for KO.
The code right, yeah.
The Madigan model, let's go.
Yeah.
And so for what it's worth, for Release the Beast that we're doing, it was ruled that is allowed. So there is technically a clarification, because I mean, I think that it's fair that a lot of people could see that the spirit of it would be that, like, hey, if you're going to bring back 1, you get 2. If you're going to bring back 2, you get 3, right? But technically, the way that they've written the rules, it's kind of backed it into a corner where everything is an ability, and the check on this is that I've used an ability that can return models. So
kind of stuff like that is like kind of why, as well as like last tournament, I kind of made a mistake and kind of ended up having it be a bit longer than I probably would have wanted it to be. Yeah, stuff like that is why I'm like not running as big a tournaments now. I'm just like trying to focus on having a few more like funner style events. Hence why like it's like a smaller thing I said now. They're like it's the nobler events rather than the butcher ones, smaller unit.
I love that, to be 100% honest. Like I think like a funner tournament, right? Because everybody has their own way of having fun. But like a funner tournament where it's like show up with 400 Noblars is great. I would love to fight and lose to that, to be 100%.
Yeah, next
Marty,
one I'm doing is going to be armies of renown only. I know there are going to be people that will abuse it. I have a feeling that like the new Iron Jaws one will be pretty spammed, or like maybe the Stormcast one. But like, I kind of just want to see how armies of renown, like, just as a meta goes.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fun.
Wasn't there one that recently where you had to play all of your games in 1 hour?
Oh yeah, so like there's
hammer.
like been some where you just like speed hammer. Yeah.
Dude, I love that.
It's
I love the idea
it's a
of
training
that.
thing.
Or-
to get
or-
you
I
off
hate the
clock.
time creep that's happened to Warhammer. I hate it so much.
No,
I love the
that's why I
idea
play,
of that.
that's why I play ogres. I don't. I can
The
get
natural
my games.
antidote.
I've had games finished
This is
like
close
full
to being a
fight games
Gargan
in
player.
30 minutes with ogres before. Love that army.
And I've definitely been hit by monster trucks and said good game after first turn before.
They hit the double.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a bit.
Yeah. I have been victimized by him.
Yeah,
As you
I mean, you hit me back with that, like
I did hit
living
you back. That ain't
cities,
the point.
moving, shooting, fulminators stuff before. Like it's gone both
Yeah.
ways.
So
That's great.
So that's another interesting thing, right? Like the ability to kind of, because from what it sounds like to me, and me more just, being the guy who only flips the table and then turns the app off, once a year.
Sure.
That actually sounds like a great kind of like creative release within the constructs of the game.
It is.
Because like normally, putting on tournaments, people are like, okay, I'm coming in with my tournament list. I have to pay more money for a venue, and so on and so forth, meaning that lists are usually, you actually see a reduction in the variation of like lists and builds.
Everyone wants the net list.
Though on the other hand, sometimes you can just see like hot new meta like lists.
Oh my god.
They like
Matt,
like especially in teams. I think you probably will see more variation singles, but teams, because you don't want to bring the funny list that might be really bad and let down your team. It generally does push people to bring pretty much the most optimized meta lists that they can that they're comfortable with.
The filth. Because
the true
you have
filth.
access to everything. The true filth, where shit will come out.
Like that's like teams of big like 8-player teams events. Like you won't see like filthier stuff than that.
It's just like cookie cutter, because no one wants to be that guy or girl.
Yeah, like you'll see like some variation stuff like that. Like I mean, like look at like Worlds. England have won Worlds with like Fire Slayers, like when they weren't great at one point. But like generally it's like kind of like the same sort of thing in Worlds, where like like most teams will have like Slaves of Darkness, right? So they can have like an alpha army that pairs really well into a lot of things. Like I think a lot of teams are looking like to have like either a really specific list that will punish things really badly, or a take all comers list. And because of that, you'll get like very generally similar archetypes, but like it might be different armies filling out those archetypes.
But I feel like the challenge of the players at that point is probably the main draw for something at that point, right?
Yeah, because you got like also pairings are fun. Like
that is subjective.
Like, pairings are funner than the actual round. Like even from looking at the pairing, it's like fun along for the ride. It's like, they put down that. Let's put that down. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be a party. I would also say real quick too, just to take it back for 2 seconds. One of the other things when you have access to every unit is you can do the fun game modes of like a Path to Glory where you're rolling for random units for your army. And you can actually do it the way Games Workshop intended, as if you lived in a vault with 80 Bestigor on every shelf. Or whatever.
Only one person on this podcast does.
Hey man, you don't have to call me out like that, all right?
But it allows you to do things like that because again, you have access to everything and all your narrative bullshit of cool. I want to have a siege of 10,000 points of whatever.
Yeah.
Well, you copy and paste your Bestigor 100 times, you'll get there.
Yeah. And that's why, like, that's what I want to be running a lot more, because I think for like a fairly long time, like for maybe about a year or two, like solidly, I was the only one running TTS singles events. You had Stuart running teams, and you had me running singles.
Yeah.
But the Warhammer team and Mosdog have come along doing like singles events as well, on their own stuff, like having them in like their own leagues. Warhammer is like a regional system, so like you'll play like in your own country, so you'll normally have like pretty good like times to play around, play people in your same region.
Dude, that's what killed me with this was
Yeah, with like those
eventually
ones up, I just figured it's like a pretty good
time.
chance now. Just be like, you know, like with TTS, like you don't have to. You can run events like in real life. You wouldn't have an event that's just armies of renown only, because like that shuts out a lot of people that just wouldn't be able to field the models for it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you playing it like on TTS, like anyone can play it. And like maybe they don't play any of those or know how to play them, but like, hey, they'll give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
And like, maybe try out missions or stuff like that. But yeah,
it's one more quick throw it in there real quick. A lot of these events also are play a game a week. It's not like you're sitting in, you're gonna play
like week and a half. Yep.
Yeah. So you know, I'm in a Marvel league right now myself.
Wait,
in a disc, not a big one. Stop it.
Oh, you're not in that one. Okay.
No, I'm not in that one. I have a buddy in that one. I know which one you're thinking.
Send me a link to that one, but yeah. No.
Yeah, but you know, again, it's like get a game in a week, and you know you schedule the times yourselves and you know get it done. With a lot of these bigger discords too, allowing you know because you're streaming on it, you can stream it in Discord to have observers if you are worried about someone that may even be you know you're worried about cheating and you're not you know trying to look ahead of stuff.
It's not the worst idea that you know.
It's not.
You don't know someone, but you got a mate that might want to watch the game. You just be like, oh, you want to watch? You want to see if they're playing it legit?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
which then makes a lot of these players have to play really clean Warhammer at a really high level, and you learn really quickly if you're good or not.
Yeah,
love it. That sounds great.
That's pretty great. I could see like a lot of benefit to going that way.
We're now in that TTS league right now. I got a game tonight.
Oh yeah. What are you bringing, bud?
Bringing Criminal Syndicate Wakanda. Into not Spider Phase, the other one. Web Warriors, I think.
Okay.
They're playing. Unless they switch it up, which you know they might.
Root for you.
Yeah, Spider-Man's faction basically.
Hey man, I just need to buy Venom. Do they have
I know
Carnage?
We talked about this. Are we still yeah, they have everything.
They have everything.
Except for the Silver Surfer.
Like, everything but the Fantastic Four, basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why not the Fantastic
So
Four?
many X-Men are in this deal.
Them in eventually, like when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Rights issue. It's a rights thing.
Oh, of course. Well, I mean,
think they had the rights. I think it's just like Disney's just like we don't want
the Silver Surfer.
Those characters.
There are 3 Thors in this motherfucker. All right, 2 Black Widows.
I never saw them.
No one runs the second one, but there is
sweet, huh?
Are there 3 Black Widows?
Yeah. There's the one in the first core set, one in the second core set, and in between, there's one that released in the Hawkeye box, I want to say.
Yeah, but that wasn't a reprint of the first one? That's a new one?
That's different rules. 3 fret. You have a 2 fret, 3 fret, 4 fret Black Widow.
I'll be damned.
No one ever runs it, but she exists.
That's fun.
But we were talking about maybe trying to do some TTS games as content. Are we still thinking that? Did I spoil that?
You know, I think that is a fun way for us to get a battle report going. We could definitely do that, guys.
It would be very long form as a warning.
One of the things we were very much trying to cycle into was to start a little TTS league within the ASL Discord. We have a couple of players who have showed interest, and then others who really just want to learn to get better. You know, and one of the things that did pop up, and you know, this is maybe a more just a very out of left field question, because I'm used to having dice and that. One of the questions is, like, what do you need to run TTS?
Buy a mouse, Matthew.
You need
It's not for me.
Like, you need a computer, which sounds obvious. It needs doesn't need to be the highest to the end. Just like, I guess if it could run GTA 5 or something like that, like you'd be like well clear of what you need.
So it can't.
Sorry, like
It can't be. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, like an okay PC. Like it can't be like something from 2009 or something like that. But like okay PC, maybe some decent RAM, but like not even that. Like 16 gigs, like like hell, probably 8 gigs you could get away with it worse. But like an okay PC. It is a bit more scuffed on Mac as a heads up. But like on Linux and like Windows, it like runs like a lot better.
Well, sad designer noises over here.
It's not
always
it's
on the
not
max.
too bad.
You knew it was
it's not
you.
too bad.
It's not like it's still playable. It's just like the performance the performance of your computer would need to be higher than it would need to be for like the other ones. Like that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, then I've
If
got
you've got
that
like
covered.
silicon, like Apple Silicon, you're probably fine.
Yeah. One of the benefits of work, my work, is I have to have something very, very fast. But no, that was more for Will. Will, if you're listening, there's your requirements, right? Get yourself an
you
Asus.
want a decent machine. Yeah.
Just get a decent recent Asus.
It'll probably
We
tell you
can't
about
play this on the
need.
microwave anymore.
Yeah. and you definitely want a mouse. You'll want Discord.
Yeah.
You'll have to download and purchase TTS. You can buy it in the Steam store. I think it's like $20. Or if you're resourceful, you can find it.
If you want to hold out for that, go for it.
One of my funnest facts was I actually won a copy of TTS in a giveaway from the guy that runs Best Coast Pairings. And it turned out he was near me.
Well, the other Garrett.
But a good, other Garrett.
No,
well, I know that Garrett.
Yeah.
I like refer to all the Gareths as the other Gareth.
Yeah.
We've got our old mate in our team as well. That's another Gareth.
Good Lord, they're so. But again, get this, get on the Discords, either talk to us, we'll point you to other Discords that are open and free. And you will meet so many people from around the world that share this hobby. And also, fair warning, this is just the game of Age of Sigmar. For some people, that is a shock. That you're not there, bullshitting across the table physically with your opponent, looking at each other's paint jobs, marveling in it, in the hobby, and talking. This is the game. And
so, I mean, unless you're an absolute mad lad that scans in your whole army, but
and we know those people,
they would definitely marvel at that. But I've only seen that once.
I think I've seen it twice.
Did someone call me?
Oh,
did
man.
somebody challenge me?
I think they know what you're going to do now. I've seen it twice.
So I don't know that there's a Famir mod, but
yeah, that was going to be my actual next question: are there Famir in there? Because I would like to
be able to find them.
Everyone
probably can.
Me and Rocco are probably the best people to ask because they have not been around at all for editions.
No.
I'm almost certain. I think like there was like a 2D cutout of them before, but like not like a 3D model of them here. No.
Oh, I love the cutouts, dude. The dragon ogres are just paper cutouts.
Oh god,
fucking awesome.
Those are good.
I played this before there was a dice roller in the damn mod, man. I know.
That's the old magic.
Let me just stole the 40K one. It's actually pretty good. Yeah.
That's literally all I've seen of TTS was the original, just paper cuts. Like
we've cut out
and stuff. So
it hasn't really been like that since late 2020, 2021.
We jumped.
I played a guy that had Blight Kings, and they were all animated. The game was so fucking laggy because his whole Blight King armies are all animated.
You'll see models ripped from like Total Warhammer or
that makes sense.
Like the
cities used to have a mod with that too.
Like there's a couple, like some of the AOS games or like Total Warhammer, you'll see like some models ripped from that. but mostly they're kind of just taken from the 3D views on the website.
Shout out my wanderers.
So could do worse than the 3D views on the website. That's still so good.
So it sounds like there's quite a thriving community to get into for people who can't make a lot of games.
Yeah.
To be honest,
I mean,
well, not a lot of games, a lot of
like
in-house games as well.
Yeah, even if you can, like, maybe sometimes it's like 11 p.m. and you don't have anything tomorrow. And you're just like, I just want to play. I just want to play a random game late night, which you'd never be able to do in person.
No.
Or I want to play the person that won WCW. Maybe they're up for a game, which I did. I beat Casper.
I love the idea of like the democratization of the system as well. That's such an awesome thing that like community that you guys.
It's like a lot interesting seeing the contrast and like how the community kind of treats like a lot of that stuff, and then like there's a lot of like really good people that like work at GW, but a lot of the corporate push from like maybe the board side of that, eh?
Yeah, that's where you lose it. But
like
again, like one of my first,
like the BlackRock board member probably pushing them to get rid of Bach or something like that.
Stop it! We're gonna get thrown off the internet, Marty. But you're right.
Don't summon them.
we still live here. Remember?
Yeah, we're still in America. You son of a bitch.
Yeah,
Lucky didn't get me out. Okay, we tried.
Help!
One day we'll come to CanCon.
Yes, that was never for a debate. But no, one of my first, air quotes, big games of this was against. I'm only saying it because I'm still friends with him on Steam. Dreamer popped up, who at the time was like the #1 New Zealand and Australian player for Seraphon. The first game he rinsed me. The second game I didn't lose a model.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah, who? I'm like, so who was that guy that you guys are all like giggling about me playing to see if I was really that good? And they're like, oh yeah, that's this. I'm like, oh, you asshole, setting me up. But you'll never know who you'll meet. They're almost all 99.99999% extremely nice, and then there's Marty, who's just a gem.
And there's Lockie. Don't forget Lockie.
I could never. The good doctor.
I always can. We always gaslight each other. It's a good time.
Yeah. Shout out Ballarat, Australia.
Marty, are you and Lockie close in location?
Not really.
No, not at all.
He's down like regional Victoria. I'm up like Canberra. That's like a solid like 8,
maybe
like
9.
8, 9, 10 drive.
Oh, good chunk of time.
But you get in Australia, that's just the next state over, That's...
I mean, like it's like it's like same with America, right? They're like we're both like big countries, like big countries where it's like massive distances between like the nearest like big cities to each other.
Especially in the Pacific Northwest. East Coast, they get away with just driving north and you hit a big city every hour.
Every couple hours.
Yeah, that's true. I can like drive an hour in many directions and hit different states, but it's
yeah. But for everybody, like if you're in the great state of Michigan, like a large chunk of our viewers are, and listeners, dear listeners. It's the Midwest drive of, it's going to be a few hours before you get somewhere.
Like I got a lot of good mates from the Midwest.
You do.
And from TTS, and you kind of hear about a lot of like, I gotta go. Like, my nearest like tournament is like I gotta go from like Kansas City to like Chicago or like hell even into Canada sometimes. Yeah,
they do.
That must be interesting to like kind of like hear about an abstract, right? Because like I don't know. He
has learned so much geography, Matt.
But like,
I know all the flags. I'm not bullshitting.
He has learned so much geography, and
I mean, you kind of do tend to, I'll creep out like English players of my specific English geography. I'll be like, oh yeah, no, Terry, how's like the rivalry between Norfolk and Suffolk going? He's like, why the fuck do you know what that is?
I love that because I do it silently, so like I just. Sometimes it's fun to stay tapped in, you can see all these different events and different lists and
What are all the
being part of
international
the
metas?
TTS community, yeah, you just get more access to that.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
even
I will
better,
say, we haven't said this, but I will say, if you have the luxury and you are able to, find a friend that you are comfortable with that knows TTS and do a walkthrough. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll go into the army builder together, play around with it, make the list, save the list, go into the game, start a game, right? Just let the
turn
new
off
person go
snap
first.
and grid as well. You
Yeah,
don't know what that
it's-
is yet, but turn that off as soon as you can.
Like that you just mentioned some snap and grid, they'll
It
probably
used to
know
be
what
so
you're
much
on
worse.
about, and they'll teach you how to turn it off.
Yeah.
Sounds
yeah,
like something we'll have to do in
find
the
a
Discord.
friend. Yeah, find a friend and get
Worst
a
case, if you've got no
60,
friends in
90
TTS.
minute.
I still have a YouTube video up about this as well.
Yeah.
There's probably a
There you go.
dozen more
There's,
people that have
like,
been
YouTube
since
stuff,
me.
like Rocco. I don't know if he's got a guide, but Ray Bear does like.
I think Ray Bear put up a
called
guide.
Yeah, I think his YouTube's called Scam and Plays, if memory
Yeah,
serves. He
that
does
sounds
a
right.
lot of TTS bat reps. I
Yeah.
think he also has a guide. But also, if
Hey
you're just
Whoa as well. He's
Hey
his
Whoa.
TTS community for a while.
like I'll see him play like Bobo time to time.
Yeah.
Nets.
But yeah, also if you're even on just AOS coach or something like that, and you just be like, I am new to the TTS. Can anyone like help me? If you don't have any contacts to TTS, just like if I'm up, or like maybe something that's nice is up, like they'll probably give you a run through if they're free.
I think the guide that I helped make is still pinned in TTS Coach's thing for that. Like from way back in the day. When I had a team of people that used to do this as part of like the mods, it was the teachers that would go about and do this. And all the mods there still are very helpful and very nice, and they'll do their thing.
Yes,
so fun.
Yeah,
I love it. I think this is great impetus. Anybody who's looking to start, either to have fun and go nuts with the list that you can't afford, be able to plan armies in advance, not just by model.
It's so nice.
Enjoyment.
Play before you pay. See if you like the play style.
Oh yeah. Also, like you can just sometimes just play it if you're knowing you're gonna play against something. You can either just play against someone that also knows the army, or worst case, you can just play with the army. Like if you're like, I don't have a Flesh Eat Corps player in my area. I've never played against them. How do I learn Flesh Eat Corps? Because they're really good and I'm scared of them. You can just like look up rules on like you can just get their rules because they're an index army, and just get them up, load up their armies on TTS. Maybe look for someone for a game. Just be like, I don't know this army, but I'm just trying to play through it so I know the army. And they'll be like, oh yeah, fair play. If I know Flesh Eater's Corps, I'll help you with some info and just play the army and just learn it.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Just a click away, right? I mean, it is like
literally
as long as the files are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you thought you liked list building in the app, just wait.
You get to see the models physically.
Yeah, and then it's just a whole new world waiting for you.
But this is good. I'm laughing because I know I was talking with these guys around our getting a Boy Strikes Last TTS League going, how fun that'll be. But I was thinking about that example of, if you can only get a game at 11 p.m. late at night, like, it's me. They're talking about me.
That literally is you, Jack.
My newborn
dude.
remote.
This used to be the time I would hunt people down in TTS to get games in to get practice. It's a lot, because then you run into Australians, you run into crazy Europeans who shouldn't be up at any time you'd think of, and you just get this weird, fun cross section of the world.
I'm the crazy Australian on that end.
You are.
Yeah.
You are.
That was always funny. Like sometimes, like maybe often I am up that time, but like I'll have like this like guy. He's always like, "Hey Marty, can you play a game so I can watch it?" And it's like 2 a.m. I'm like,
yes,
hey,
I know who you're talking about. 51% win rate.
Come on.
And that again, it's a way if you get into some of these discords too, that it's not like there's a restriction, it's just you gotta find the link for it. But if you can get into some of these communities, you can just learn by watching how do these top tournament players play these damn lists, and what are they doing for practice for these reps, because they're there.
I watched for a year before I ever played.
I think before I my mic cut off at some point, I was saying like right now, RTB 9, there is a semifinals where it's like our team and Russia, and then there's like the team Luke Morton, like he's like Team England team with like probably the most stacked team. He always brings the most stacked team against like a lot of like half Team US, half their secondary team Minutemen. They kind of like split them both up into two teams, and one of those teams with Fred, who got like top 8 at Worlds, very good player. But they're playing against each other in one round, and you could see like, if you like know some of the Team US guys, you could maybe like see like them play against like Casper or Ronya or Luke or someone like that. Or like on us, you could just see like Mason go 20-0. Let's go. I hope I don't jinx it.
We all believe in Mason.
Oh yeah, he's a good egg. He's fine.
He's good.
I'm a scumbag. I very rarely stream my game, but mostly because my machine barely tolerates TTS. Like it functions and we play well, but
about that,
that's the other thing too, is you need someone in there that can stream it, because sometimes there was a time where
internet.
you'd let a third person just come into the server itself that would then just stream it. Whoever had the best internet connection. But not the point. The point is there's a huge online community on here through Tabletop Simulator. And if you want to know why all these Worlds players are so goddamn good, is they're practicing near constantly, because they can get a game at any time they're free throughout their day. With any models to practice.
It's actually funny seeing, like, I've actually seen like some of these players like start AOS, like, play up a lot of TTS, and then like I got a good mate, like he's like Farron's his real name, but he goes by Terry Wogan. He started
That's
like
Terry's real name.
Yeah, Farron's is Terry's real name. Yeah, Terry's not his real name. Yep.
I knew Terry wasn't his real name,
but Terry's a good example where he like came in at 3rd or something like that, and like got like a lot of TTS reps and got into Team England.
Yeah,
or, like Kieran in Australia, Kieran Coates. Well, I wouldn't say he's the most grinding on TTS, but like he started played like a fair bit of TTS as well as like a lot of IRL. And then like
I used to watch videos on
started the game after beating me by 2 points once.
How about Rhino that hit
and like, which is our like top players event, and came second, almost like beat like the player that like that like was undefeated in the whole season round 1, and then like had a run, and then only lost to the guy that won the Masters 3 other times.
That's pretty damn good.
Who's won it 3
not
other times?
Not bad for coming straight out of TTS. So he
and
learned everything there.
Sorry, I need to get up on my Aussie drama. Hold on. Who won it this year?
Terrence Bowler. He is a massive legend in the sport. And also he is like he's normally I don't know if he still is, but he's been in like a wheelchair for a fair bit, and like and like he does like really good work to like actually get out and like play a lot of these events. Like through that. And like he's like smashing it. He's always like a really nice bloke. Like I was really pumped to see he won like Masters for that this year.
Nice.
So yeah, Terrence Bowler. Yeah.
And also I would say with TTS players that you've seen too, Bobo, dude. And Rhino as well. Rhino made Team Canada, but
Rhino, no, he's a lot of like, he's like maybe him and like Carson are their big upcoming stars, I would keep an eye out for Canada at Worlds.
I would too. They're looking stacked. The people they turned away are really good. Let alone who's actually going.
That's very, very true. But I don't want to lose the thread, guys, and like the coolness of just the underlying TTS origin story there. Coming out of no in real life games, playing a lot of TTS, getting your practice there. Folks have literally popped onto the scene at the very top. On Worlds teams. With this, taking Masters and getting second. That's awesome.
I mean, like Stuart, right? Like Stuart's in Japan. There's no scene. Like, there's
comparatively no scene. It's growing. He is actively growing,
but it's not a big scene, and he is like by far their best player. But like you got Stuart like as a thinger, but like he's like
we're trying to get Stuart on in a future episode too, dear listener.
Only.
Indeed, wait for it, guys.
To get the Australian captain spot for our Worlds team and come fourth, like have our team come fourth with his like really good like experience he's gained from like running his own events and like playing a lot of events as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Stuart's like been smashing that. Jalen as well, who's like been in Korea.
Yep, he's in Seoul.
I don't think he has played IRL games, but like when he's in Korea,
like, or Old World, he has.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's on like 3 different emulators too. It's crazy, but yeah.
No, and he's been smashing in teams and like really good at pairings, stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of really good people that just will mainly play TTS and like, yeah, no, like sometimes if you just see like someone like you don't know at all that like might be new and is like going like top 8 at like LVO or like, or maybe like they're like their national team smashing worlds or something like that. Yeah, they might have just been like a really good TTS player.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
And it's just the game, not the bells and whistles.
Yeah,
and they get their reps in. They get to watch all these other people. They get to ask questions live of all these tournament players that come together to form this community, and it's just really freaking cool.
Really, really is. Yeah. It does speak a lot to the idea that it is the game with the bells and whistles, without like the physicality, schedule matching complications. What better way to get reps, if you need them?
Yeah.
And what better way to really like learn the rules, right? Like know your army inside and out, rules wise, and then translate that onto a table.
That's true. At one point, there is. Oh, Rocco, go ahead.
I was gonna say at one point for rule stuff from like second and third, I think I could play every army proficiently because of TTS.
Yeah, because you just gave everyone like practice games. You kind of just knew everything, eh?
Yeah, no, I legitimately did, and through third too. It was great.
And there are like, and that's how like a lot of those people that will just play like a random army and just do well.
Yeah,
like. And like they might not even need to pick up the army. Like Lockie, right? He's like played an event, gone like 4-1 at an event with an army he had no experience with at all, OBR. Just because like he's played so many different, like he's had a lot of experience playing different armies. Because like for TTS, he knows how to pick up an army and just know how to play it. Like you kind of
no one here knows who Lockie is, but he's a very dear friend of past good mate.
Yeah,
I know him. I talked to him.
Oh, there you go.
He talks mad shit, but he's like when he actually plays an event.
Does he talk shit to you, Mason?
No.
Yeah.
Are you talking shit to Lockie?
Yes.
Me?
We all talk.
He needs more shit thrown at him.
Yeah, but when Lockie actually plays an event, like he normally does, like he's normally contending like 5 hours. He's really good.
Yeah, there's a chance he wins it just by randomly showing up, and like all the Australians get spooked. Like, wait, he came out of hibernation.
Yeah, he's like,
how does he know the rules?
He barely plays events, but like when he does show up, like he will show up.
Yeah, shout out to Shed and Ballarat too.
Yeah, Shed Crew. Yeah, no.
Anyway,
I love it.
Yeah, and you get to meet a bunch of people you never would have met. My wife and I have adopted Marty at least twice.
I mean, yeah, we've never like actually met, but we'll probably will one day. Like when I actually get an accounting job.
I gotta fly over there. Yeah, but no, we've had hobby hangouts and paint chats and video calls and just all of this. I've known him his whole university career.
Yeah.
I know about your cows when you grew up on your farm, your big sheep.
Barbie and Q, yeah.
Barbie and Q, yeah. And again, you too, dear listener, could have these kinds of relationships and meet these people and not even have to do anything crazy besides play a game with them online.
Well, don't forget the big 3 steps, Rocco. Step 1, like, subscribe.
Yep.
Possibly join the Patreon if you're feeling frisky.
Yep.
Step 2, check the links in the show notes and figure out what this is all about. Step 3, hit all of us up. Possibly hit Marty up if you're up for that, Marty. Definitely go to some of these Discords.
Ever send me around, and you want to know anything about TTS? Chuck me a message. Well, if you ever want to run an event as well, like I will send you on resources. I will like help as much as I can because I always want to do things like more like people give it a go as well.
Yeah,
nice.
Well, I may be calling on you in the future then.
Oh yeah, no, like
fair warning, but you might have been I know it was you and Stuart, but I know how good you are with Discord bots and other things. You might just be stuck here with us.
Yeah.
As I try to reacquaint myself.
That's fine. I always like helping stuff. Like,
no, I truly, I think you guys have kind of turned my ear towards it. You know, I think for me, one of the biggest things that I really enjoy about AOS is the uplifting community.
And it's there.
As things get weird and the world is consistently getting stranger, it's really nice to see good people come together and be good people. So it sounds like TTS is really a vector of that in the community, and I'm stoked. I'll download it. I will get past flipping the table.
Matt, that's gonna be our squad
just
goal.
For sanity's sake, feel free to just load it up, flip that table, exit, and then just relaunch it.
Just come back in. Yeah, that's it.
You need to train yourself every day.
I'm gonna have to
set up 2 hours of doing it.
I am gonna have to set up the army once before anybody else gets in, and then
I will do it for you at that point if it's just having me copy the damn thing.
Again, if you're playing against Slaves of the Darkness, after they table you top of 1.
Yeah, just
there you go. Yeah,
make armies with screens. So the 3d6 charge can't hit your important stuff.
Okay, so dear listeners, I'm going to ask an important question for anybody else who's new coming into this. So, at the end of the game, after all the points are tallied, is it faux pas to flip the table after everything is done?
For me, it was loser always flips the table.
Loser flips the table. Think, this is the most important part of this episode.
But it depends on the group you're playing with.
You gotta do one really important ritual first, and that is basically grab the model you think was MVP. The model you think was MVP, make it go big by pressing plus a lot of the time. Put it next to the scoreboard on your side. They do the same.
Screenshot that son of a bitch.
Side. You screen cap the score, and then they'll post it. Then you can flip the table.
Awesome. So that's the etiquette we're gonna roll with from here on out.
Okay. And there is an autosave function now built into the game. So if you
can go back in time.
You can.
Which is actually important. If you ever see like a bunch of random text on the screen, go back in time 1 step. That should fix it.
Yeah. I know this doesn't make sense yet, but
it will soon.
You'll know when it looks glitched out. You'll know what I mean. Yeah.
The saves are good too.
Okay. One other real quick thing too about this that is really nice is if you don't have a lot of time, you can save the games.
That is like exactly what I was going to say.
Load it back in.
Yeah. You can say, "Oh, I gotta go. Something's happening. Can we pick this up in an hour?"
One time, my apartment was on fire. I saved my game and left.
I remember that.
I think I played a game with Matt once, Matt B, and we had to save and come back to the game 2 times, basically when stuff just happening in both apartments. But it works.
Yeah,
well, that's great. I really appreciate it. Going. It's a whole new world.
What, Mason?
I'm stoked to get it going.
Yeah,
you got to do it. Get those games on.
Yeah, no, you've been doing good on that. So no.
Yeah, man, you got to represent for the team.
And good to see new people coming in the scene and absolutely smashing it as well, like you've done.
Which is funny too, because Mason obviously is not brand new to Age of Sigmar.
Yeah,
but coming into the Shark Tank that some of these TTS leagues can be in.
That's where he lives. Mason lives with the sharks. He's an orca in a sea of great whites.
Yeah. I play a very disguised shark.
You guys did win the Masters. Like your region.
True.
Yeah.
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 Are you paying attention?
We have a lot of iron strengthening iron over here.
Indeed. Even lowly sharks like me get way too much of a experience buff out of just existing in the area.
It's gonna bask in the glow over here, have to level up slightly.
I remember the first time Beasley realized you could have auras just be on in TTS.
Yeah.
When he was having people like 3D print crazy measuring devices and shit for him to practice on like streams and stuff.
Yeah.
For the old dimensional cascade. I'm like, you can just click a button. He's just like, oh my God.
What, back in the factory?
Precise Warhammer.
Back in the olden days when it was just Rocco watching our streams.
Oh.
Yeah. That was great.
We've grown an audience here since then, dear listener.
Truth.
Because we're getting up there. But yeah, it's a good time. It's fun. It's a different way to go about it. You meet a bunch of people. It's gonna be a little learning curve. You'll get it. You'll get it. And Marty, any closing thoughts for you, bud?
Yeah,
have a good time being on here.
Just like it's a game. Have fun.
Yeah.
The best advice ever. Thanks so much for joining us, Marty. This has been awesome. I think everyone's going to really appreciate it.
Mason's right. Go Toxic. Let's go.
Did you ever even shout your team name out in this tournament? We should all be rooting for.
Big timers. We also got a sub team that's running in like a sub event for the thing called Legends of the Sport.
Nice.
I snuck my way on.
Nice.
Yeah, you snuck your way into there.
This episode is a Turnus approved for everyone on camera.
Oh, wow, look at you.
Hey,
I got 6 seals waiting over there for me.
I worked through.
Is it model presentation time?
Weapon.
Sure is.
Yeah,
it is.
I got her from a white base coat to this at the very least.
Nice.
Solid.
Getting there.
I was doing a bunch of lava chains.
Oh, you're batch painting. See, batch painting. That's where it's
just
at.
three guys, but just the 3 lava chains.
Are these from the Iron Jaws? Because you're doing your cool orcs. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, do we have a progress report on your board?
No further progress. Yeah, I paused to work on some models because I wanted to be able to play games and not look like a degenerate.
You did say that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I didn't realize that was okay.
Yeah. But I made pretty good progress. Like my mega boss, it's very dark here. Hold on, let me see. Bingo, more light.
It's based. We'll take that. Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Oh, there you go.
Very cool.
Yeah, you use.
Then I've got Zagrok.
There you go.
The Anvil Smasher. Are you using Regiment of Renown for that? No, you're not. Not the Army of Renown, are you, Mason, or something?
I'll try it. I'm gonna have 60 yard boys. So
I mean, we know a place that might be a thing if you're running the Army of Renown. We know
just let them have a use of something, eh?
So
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll see. I've got so many options. I've got big pigs for days. I got 8 of them over here. I got to start painting those guys after I finish these. I'm gonna repaint them all. Yeah, no problem, man.
Just they don't sell to Australia.
I'm so terrified of the big pigs. I have no idea why.
There's a 5-drop list. It's just 5 Maw Crushers. Like let's just
that's what I'm more worried about.
I played the big pigs yesterday with the stone ones.
Oh, there you go.
They're actually really good.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'm not playing it wrong. Like I'm not rating it wrong, where you can rate a play and that's a run ability because it's like bracket run. Like
correct. Yeah.
That's right.
That seems crazy.
If I'm playing that right, they're actually really solid because you can just rate a play, have them basically up to full momentum, and then like they become really scary to charge into.
Yeah, and they only drop at the end of the battle round, not the turn. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you for validating me because I was sitting here like, uh-oh.
Yeah,
I still think
the rules right.
You get damage 5 tusks at Ren too. Like No,
Yeah,
that's
that-
scary.
That's what I
Yeah.
was saying.
I think it's more for me. It all just sucks.
No,
It's
I'm
all
rating-
scary,
I'm rating that
man.
Regiment Renown. Like, I'm rating it.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of come to a good place.
I think so.
Remember, listeners, to comment with
Yeah.
9 words or more now.
Or more now.
Because why
Yeah.
not? Because why
Yeah.
not? Help us with the algorithms. It's the only way they seem to listen to us is when you bark random things at us. Like, Matt, please do not flip the table or I will punch you in the face now. Let's see if you can comment that.
Yeah, that's something. Also, that Marty's been saying is all one word.
Yeah.
There is no
And-
space.
A massive legend on the sport. I'll probably post that.
Oh, nice.
Jeez.
So that.
Take it.
And go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
Oh no, you got to check.
Just a little addition to what you were saying is that if you want to take that comment and turn it into something you can comment all day, every day, don't forget you can join the Patreon and be part of the Discord for as little as $2 a month.
Yeah.
Yep. And be part of the league that we're going to start. And,
Indeed, where we're going to turn this TTS thing into action.
We've said it enough times now. We have to manifest it. I believe that's how that works.
That's
Legal
kind of
obligation.
kind of what I do. Is I say it enough.
Okay.
What was that, Marty?
I can give a good push on that. I can force you to get it done.
That's
Please
fair.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
That's what we need.
Come in
Thank
and
you.
bully us. Bully us.
Playing it too.
I'll just bully Rocco.
Yeah.
There
I
you
need
go.
Do.
Okay,
no,
that works.
I need to get my ass in gear. I really do.
He's building
So-
eels right now. He's chasing the meta. I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the new book's gonna be, man. I got sharks. I need to get my eels up. I got my turtle.
Hey man, at least you're not building
Oh,
KO goblins.
They'll probably just do like one like hero, but
Yeah, probably just one here. I'm
Hey,
okay.
KO
with
is a good choice. They're coming up.
That's
I know.
Man, that's a whole nother topic. Right now, really, if anything, we're in a good place. We should be seeing who's getting the final or last word.
The last word?
Yeah.
All I know is there's a last bird.
Uh-huh.
That's the word.
Marty, say something.
Yeah,
The bird
no.
word.